So it was all just a ruse then, essentially. This was just a chance for you to get a loan and have cream rubbed in by the studio nurse.
Well, of course. She was very beautiful.
Do you get to see all the gimmicks beforehand, or are they as much a surprise to you as they are to the audience?
They're much surprised as they are to the audience, yes.
So what about the first time you saw Little Nellie? How did that come about?
We went out to Japan to do that scene, and on Sunday we had the day off, and we went to the local aerodrome for lunch. And suddenly I heard a sort of odd noise, and I thought the Japs were mowing the lawn. I thought it was pretty odd, you know, on a Sunday. Somebody said, oh, that's Little Nellie arriving. And I said, well, you know, what the hell's Little Nellie?
I have much curiosity, Bolson. What is Little Nellie?
Oh, she's a wonderful girl. Very small. Quite fast. Can do anything. Just your type.
A toy helicopter?
No, it's certainly not a toy.
How did you first get involved in the whole Bond setup with Little Nellie and You Only Live Twice?
Well, it was entirely by chance. I was going to take part in a spaghetti 007 film that was to be shot in Brazil. And Tony Skase, who did radio interviews in those days, came to see me, and he recorded the aircraft flying around before I went out there. And at the end of the chat that we had, he said, would you like to have a fight with a helicopter the one can? I said, give me half a chance, Tony.
All these rockets and things, they all
they all fired many times in the film.
Wow. Can I climb in?
Yes, certainly.
You know, I haven't flown one of these for years, Ken.
Oh, it'll come back to you very quickly.
Yeah.
You don't never forget.
Just like falling off a log. Oh, there we are. Oh. Well, let's go. Start me up.
Right. Are you ready?
But do you think James Bond would have liked his life to be a little more like yours? Or would you have liked your life to be a little more like his?
Well, I think it probably would work. I think probably he would rather probably have been living my life. I think, quite frankly, my license was better than the one for killing.
And your license has never been revoked, I understand?
That's correct.
Looking at Goldeneye, the finished object now, do you have a favourite moment? Is there a favourite scene which you're involved in that you really like, you think really works as well, if not better than you expected?
You know, a lot of good moments. I mean, it was just great to be working on. You know, on the first day when I went in and me and Pierce were in the costume together, the combat gear, I'm watching his back and he's watching mine, you know, setting his watches. You know, I thought, I can't believe this. This is, you know, this is great.
I can't believe you're doing a Bond movie.
Yeah.
Shut the door, Alec. There's a draft. Alec?
Move out. Throw down your weapon and walk towards me. Slowly.
Finish the job, James. Blow them all to hell.
Is there one moment, one particular scene which you would consider to be a favourite?
The golf scene in Goldfinger?
Oh, I believe this is yours.
Live and Let Die. The opening sequence with that fabulous song plays.
It was very catchy.
I think it's smashing, and the girl sort of burns. I think it's a very good sequence, that.
Ursula Andress walking out to sea. I'm sorry. I actually saw her in Paris once. She was getting into this huge Bentley when I was a smelly old student. And I don't know why, I just went, Ursula, baby! And she went...
I think the one in its time frame that was probably the most memorable was the one where he suddenly put on that jet operation on his back and went disappearing off into the sky, and that was a great escape.
The scene where Connery's on the slab, strung out, and the laser beam is coming up between his legs.
Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Probably Goldfinger, with the big laser. that laser sequence, you know, where he's...
Isn't it funny how all the men who see Bond movies remember the laser sequence?
Well, it's a very threatening sequence, that, you know, as it nears his crutch. I mean, I think we all...
What is it about Bond and the Bond movies that have proved to be just so popular over the years?
Well, it's a question I've been asked quite often, and the only answer I can think is that they're virtually all the same. The audience get what they pay for. It is big, it's spectacular, the locations are spectacular, the action is enormous, but it's the same story dressed up in a different fashion. You mustn't change things, so people are very, very disappointed if they didn't have the same formula. But you dress it up in a different way, that's all.
Sex, violence, yeah, that's all the good stuff.
Pure fantasy, and everything is bigger and better than life.
Bond did it right from the very beginning. The construction of the films, the use of the prologue at the very beginning, the way they set it up, the use of the music, the Bond theme, the look of the films, the sets. They did it right from the very beginning.
Harry Saltzman always used to say that men went out of the cinema walking tall, and I think women fancy Bond, and that's that. It's quite simple, really.
So there you have it. James Bond, the man with the license to kill, thrill and cavort with handsome young ladies, and also that we residents of this island can sleep safely in our beds. So just who is he? 007's been played by 5 actors, all of whom contributed to his personality, but ultimately he's bigger than all of them. Die Hard will die with Willis. Terminator will be terminated with Schwarzenegger, but 007 is different. As long as men want to do what they're not really supposed to do, he'll be around. You might call the latest movie GoldenEye, but to me, it's Dr. No 17. Yes, in this ever-changing world in which we live in, where iron curtains must rust, cold wars must thaw, there will always be room for Bond. James Bond.